What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're doing well. Was an eventful weekend, so let's jump right into it. So first of all, Joel Embiid has been shut down for the entire rest of the season by the Philadelphia 76ers with his knee injury. Shocker. Not at this point. The guy's always hurt. I don't know what the Sixers are going to do. They just gave him a gigantic extension. He's got, I think, 3 years left on that. Paul George's 3 years left at $1 zillion per season. He's looked really bad this year. He's playing through injuries. Jared McCain was going to win Rookie of the Year. He's out for the season. Outside of Tyrese Maxey, there was very little there for the Philadelphia 76ers. They're not even in the play-in right now. They're not even the first team out of the play-in. They have a worse record than the freaking Brooklyn Nets right now. It's been just a dreadful time for them. At one point, they also been next last week. I was like their 9th or 10th loss in a row, and like they're 18th in their last 23 games. They are just in free fall mode. The biggest disappointment in the NBA this year. One of the biggest, probably in the last 10 years. Not maybe as bad as the Lakers with Russell Westbrook or the Nets with KD and Kyrie and all of them. The Suns are even a bigger disappointment with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker. But Philly's right there this year because this has just been a disaster. I mean, the process has been over for years. At least 3 or 4 years, if not 5. To me, when the Celtics beat them in the second round, I think that was 2 or 3 years ago. That's when the process officially ended. It's been over for 3 years, but whatever this is not working. But Embiid, the guy, I don't know how you can like this guy. He foul baits, he flops, he complains, he blames teammates in the media, always hurt, always running his mouth, overrated as hell, most frozen MVP in sports history, most overrated NBA player in the league. He's maybe a top 20 player, but like, even that might be a stretch at this point. And now he's in his 30s. He's, 31, 32 years old, going to be next year. And I'm not sure if he's ever played a full season. He's always hurt in the playoffs, always underperforms in the playoffs. The guy's been in the league for a decade plus, and has never even appeared in the conference finals. Just not good enough. He is absolutely cooked. I don't see his career getting much better, honestly. It's clear his body is just shutting down, and he's just not that guy. But he's out for the year. And before we get to some football stuff, there was a big trade in hockey. The Florida Panthers acquire Seth Jones from the Chicago Blackhawks. They sent Spencer Knight in a 2027 first getaway. Jones has had a good year. 7 goals, 20 assists, 27 points this year. That's going to help them on the back end. He had been struggling in the last couple years on the back end, but he's been a little better this year. He's been a solid defender. He's getting a little bit older. He came up in Columbus. He's been in Chicago for a while. He's a very good defenseman that Florida adds. They lost Matthew Tkachuk. He got hurt in the Four Nations. Probably for the rest of the regular season. The plans to have him back for the playoffs, so probably won't see him for a while. So they get obviously Tkachuk's a forward and Jones is a D-man, but they probably wanted and they're at least another guy who can make a difference. I said Jones is getting older. He's 30 years old. This is his first year was back in 2014, so he has been in the league for like 12 years now. But he won the Calder back in 2014. He's been an All-Star, I think 5 times. He's a very good defenseman in Florida. Addison's potential now, I do think is a good guy to get back for Chicago. His numbers don't look flashy. He flashed in a couple of games back in 2021. 2022, he played pretty well in 32 games, had a .279 goals against average, 908 save percentage. The following year, he struggled. Remember, the first 2 years when Florida signed Sergei Bobrovsky, he did not play well, so Knight wins that year. Looked like he was going to play a lot more. Didn't really work out. Eventually got sent down to the minors. Was in the minors all of last year. This year became the start of the year as the backup to Bobrovsky. Has not been has been very good so far this year. 2.4 goals in the average now, 7 save percentage. Still only 23 years old. At one point was a top goalie prospect, one of the top goalie prospects in the entire world. I think it's in there. He's shown it in spurts. He showed it in his rookie year briefly. He showed it a couple of years ago. He's played well this year behind Sergei Bobrovsky. I think he's ready to take that next step. And maybe he'll be the goalie of the future Florida Chicago Blackhawks. Plus, they get a first-round pick. Not for another 2 years, but a first and a really talented young goalie for a guy who's not in your future plans. That's a good return for the Chicago Blackhawks. Okay, so let's get into some NFL stuff before more off-season series. Matthew Stafford's going to return to the Rams. He took a pay cut and restructured his deal to remain the Los Angeles Rams. There was rumors that they were looking to move off him because he's getting older, starting to decline a little bit, and they didn't want him at the number that he was making. A lot of teams were interested in him. New York Giants were. A lot of buzz around New York Giants. Pittsburgh Steelers were also mentioned as well. Las Vegas Raiders were also mentioned, but he decided to return to the Rams. I think it's the right move for both sides. Stafford's at the end of his career. I think he's 37 years old. Declining a tiny bit, but still a very good quarterback. I think when I ranked my top 32 quarterbacks in this past year. I had him at like 12. He's still one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Trust me, I would love if he was the Jets quarterback. I don't care how old he is. He's still a very good quarterback. Maybe not, the guy he was 5 years ago. That was, like a brief MVP candidate, but still very good. And also from Stafford, I think he looked at the options. Like the Giants suck. They have no receivers. They have defense that has some question marks. They suck. This is a bad organization. The Raiders are a dumpster fire organization. Their defense sucks. Their weapons aren't great. And then the Steelers, Tomlin's a good coach. Is he a great coach? Obviously, that's a whole other thing. We can get into a whole other podcast. But, they don't have a ton of weapons there either. They'll have a lot of pieces defensively. Rams probably have better weapons, even with Cooper Kupp possibly on the way out. And their defense is just probably just as good as Pittsburgh's. It's very young. It's very good. The Rams was the best spot for him, so he decided, you know what, let's take a pay cut. And he had 2 years left on his deal. I assume he still does. Probably just at a lesser number. So he will be the going forward. Interesting to see if they draft somebody this year. He's definitely at the end of his career. And, he signed a 4-year, $106 million extension in 2022 after he won the Super Bowl, so he's got 2 years left on that. I think they'll pay him until he's 39 years old. So he remains with the Rams. Someone who's no longer on our team is Deebo Samuel. Why should Commanders trade for Deebo Samuel? They give up a 5th-round pick to go on his whole contract. Look, I don't think this guy has a whole lot left. He is going to be 30 years old next year. He's had a lot of injuries. He's been declining for a couple of years. He has 77 catches for over 1,400 yards and 6 scores in 2021. It's weird. He actually hasn't put up that great numbers the last few years. He's missed some games. He's not really a true receiver. He's just more a weapon. They use him at 20 yards in the past. They even use him at running back. But his numbers really don't jump off the page. These are his numbers the last 3 years. 56 for 632, 2 scores. 60 for 892, 7 scores. 51 for 670 and 3 scores. And again, I don't think he has a whole lot left. He was a bit of an issue off the field. You saw him kind of arguing with teammates a lot. Some stuff he said in the media. He's a bit of a diva off the field as well. However, when healthy, he's still a half-decent receiver. The Commanders have Jayden Daniels on a rookie quarterback. They have a lot of cap space. They need to capitalize this year and next year before they have to pay Jayden Daniels in 2 years from now. God knows how much money they'll have to pay that guy. So they got to capitalize. Deebo can probably be a solid receiver 3, serviceable receiver 2. Should you be paying that kind of guy $18 million? Probably not, but it's only for a year. You only give up 5th-round pick for him. This is a good move for the Washington Commanders to me. And the Niners can move his contract, which they're going to need because they got to pay Brock Purdy. I'd be careful how much you pay that guy, but they're probably going to pay him an extraordinary amount of money. Got a lot of contracts on the books. They're probably going to have to add somebody, have to add to the offensive line, maybe add to the secondary. They probably don't have the money to do it. They're going to have to do that through a draft, so moving his contract definitely helps. And the Eagles also make a move. They let go of Darius Slay. Saves them $4.3 million in cap space. Slay is not really the same player. Was 30 in his age 33 season. He started all 14 games that he played, but 49 tackles. He had 13 pass defenses, a forced fumble recovery, but did not have a single interception. He's never been a huge interception guy. Actually, only has for his career. Well, he's got 28 career interceptions, but I did not have an interception at all last season. Still decent cover corner. He grades, I think, the 52nd best cover. PFF ranking was, I think, the 52nd best in coverage last year. So, still a solid cover corner. Definitely at the end of his career, but he is a 6-time Pro Bowler, a former first-team All-Pro. He's now a Super Bowl champion. So he's still a good corner. Can probably be a solid corner too if you have a elite corner one across from him. Somebody should definitely pick this guy up. It's gonna be 34, but he's still a solid cover corner. Overall. So, but let's get into my NFL offseason series. So, starting with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't even know where you start here, because well, first of all, what I think is gonna happen is definitely not gonna happen because Jerry Jones operates on his own time. They don't come in with a ton of money. But I think they're going to have to move some money around with Dak Prescott. His cap hit is just ridiculous. That contract is just horrible. Most say they should try and trade him, but no one's going to take that contract. If you can move money around, you can save a lot of money. They should start on the offensive line. Zach Martin is retiring. They got two good tackles. You drafted Tyler Smith recently. Terrence Steele is good. And you have and then your other guard is a Pro Bowler as well. But Zach Martin leaves a hole for them in the interior offensive line. So I would go out and sign Mekhi Becton. He's familiar with the division. He's won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles, who's obviously very bad with the Jets for all those years. A lot of injuries, had some weight concerns. Had some sort of being out of shape, but he's gotten in shape over even his last year with the Jets. Being in shape wasn't really an issue. But last year, signed with the Eagles, they moved him to guard, and he had a very good season. So will he perform as well in Dallas? I don't know. Eagles seem to always get the best out of their offensive lineman. They have the best O-line coach in the league there, and Jeff Stoutland, and the talent around him was very, very good. But then you look, across from him is Tyler Smith, who's an all-pro guard from a first-round pick. Terrence Steele, the right tackle, was very good. He's got some good talent over there. He's going to get paid. He's probably going to get a 4-year deal. He is still young. He's still probably 25, 26, maybe 27 years old. Probably get $10, $11 million a year, something like that. I think Dallas should pounce on him. I don't think the Eagles are going to be able to afford him. They had to cut Darius Slay just to scratch out even a little bit of cap space. They're going to lose some pieces. Mekhi Becton is one of them. Also, the Eagles have so much talent on that offensive line. They're so well coached on the offensive line. They can probably draft him, get him a third round, and he'll be a Pro Bowler in 2 years anyway. Look at you have a guy like Cam Jurgens, who you draft him at the third round. He sits behind Jason Kelce for 2 years. His first year as a starter, he's a Pro Bowler, all-pro kind of guy. Look at that. Something like that they'll probably do. Anyway, I think P.J. Hill will be a good signing for them. They're going to lose some pieces up front. DeMarcus Lawrence and Oga, I can't pronounce his last name. They're two of their best pass rushers besides Micah Parsons. Those two guys are going to leave in free agency, most likely. Linval Joseph, who was your DT tackle last year, definitely is. You could re-sign him. He's also at the end of his. What's that, Ashton? Oh, they are going to tag him. Okay, so by the way, you got Ash to help you out in the back, so shout out to him. So Dallas looks like they are going to keep Oza. But they're most likely going to lose DeMarcus Lawrence. Linval Joseph probably is on the way out as well. They need someone on the inside. Mosley Smith has been a massive first-round bust since they drafted him in the first round a couple of years ago. B.J. Hill's the guy who's a really good run stopper, can push the pocket a little bit. He's been around the league for a while. He was in Houston, been in Cincinnati recently. Numbers don't tell the full story of him. He's a really impactful player, kind of like a Leonard Williams kind of player. He's really good. I think Dallas should pounce on him. And he'll probably get like a 2-year deal for $10 million or so a season. Two other items I have them making. Maybe Dietrich Wise. Been with the Patriots for a while. He's a decent pass rusher. He's kind of been up and down over the years. He had 7.5 sacks a couple of years ago. And also, this heard from Asher, who is producing my show today. T. Higgins has been franchise tagged by the Bengals. He is due $26.2 million. We'll see if he signs it, if they work out a long-term deal, if they end up trading him. We'll see what happens, but the Bengals have placed the franchise tag on T. Higgins. But back to the Dallas Cowboys, I do think Dietrich Wise makes sense. They're going to have to get some pass rush somehow. You have Micah Parsons. First of all, the possibility he gets traded. I don't think they will trade him. How they're going to find money to extend him, I have no clue. But if they trade him, they went 7-10 with him. They're going to probably go 5-12 if they trade him, especially since their head coach is Brian Schottenheimer. So Dietrich Wise is he's a guy who's a solid rotational pass rusher. He can give you 7 sacks. It's better than what you're going to get with DeMarcus Lawrence probably headed out the door. The Oza coming back might help, but you never know. I don't know if he wants a long-term deal and Dallas can't afford him. Maybe they have to trade him. I doubt they'll be able to pay him and Micah Parsons along with all the other contracts they already have on the books. Only other move I have to making is Mike Williams. They need a receiver too really bad. Brandon Cook's a free agent. He's kind of washed anyway. Outside of CeeDee Lamb is coming off an injury. The rest of the receiving core is really bad. Mike Williams, I don't know what he has left. He's going to be like 31 and 32. 2 years ago, of course, didn't play much. He missed the entire year with torn ACL. This year wasn't great between the Jets and the Chargers. I mean, not the Chargers. The Chargers was his first. The Jets and the Steelers. Quarterback play wasn't the best. The Jets, he had 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers. With the Steelers, he had Russell Wilson at the end of his career. I mean, Dak isn't a real beater either, but probably better than those two guys at their points in their careers. So maybe another year removed from the ACL, maybe he can be a solid deep threat. Maybe at least a serviceable 3. Maybe they can get a 2 in the draft. There are a lot of receiver 2 kind of guys in the draft. First round, they should probably go maybe Ashton Genty if he's there, or maybe something on the defense. But I think they can get a receiver 2 in the second or third round. So I think that's what the Dallas Cowboys should do. Next up is the New York Giants. Where do I start with the New York Giants? All right, they got to figure out a quarterback. I do think they are going to draft a quarterback. I think either Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders will be the third pick by the Giants. I'd be surprised if it is not. So they're going to have to do something. Like in this exercise, I have the Jets signing Justin Fields. I have a couple other. I think Aaron Rodgers might end up with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know that they're looking at him. I mean, I wouldn't sign Aaron Rodgers, but somebody's going to. So I have Sam Darnold, I think, going to the Raiders. So far and few between other options. I could see maybe like a Russell Wilson going here. Again, there's very few options, but I think you gotta have some sort of veteran in the room. If you throw Cam or Shedeur Sanders out there week 1, that will go very poorly. Then with Giants, they're gonna do that, but they shouldn't. So get a guy out there. Again, I don't think Russell Wilson has a whole lot left. Ashton Sprout to Jacoby Brissett. Again, is Brissett all that great? No, but he's a solid backup. I mean, look what the Patriots did. They threw him out there. Was he good? No. Did the team perform well? No. But then Drake May, we drafted over, went out there and looked really good. Now, Drake May is miles better than Cam or Shedeur Sanders, but, it's something. You got to have somebody back there. Because, again, if you throw Cam or Shedeur out there week 1, you're going to be doing this again in 3 years, if not sooner. So, a couple moves they could make. I think they should address the linebacking corps. They have a talented front 7 with Ryan Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and Kayvon Thibodeau. All right, just correct me. It's core. Excuse me. Core. Yeah, corpse is a dead person. I'm not a corpse. I'm not trying to kill anybody. The linebacking core could use a. Thank you, Ashton. Could use an upgrade. Robert Spillane's a name that jumps out to me. He's had some good years. Who's in Pittsburgh for a while. You add him. You put him next to Bobby O'Keefe. That could make for a improved defense. They also have room at right tackle. Evan Neal is absolutely horrible. What a massive first-round bust he has been. Their line overall was a little better last year. Andrew Thomas, who's always hurt when healthy, is an elite level left tackle. You have the interior is pretty good with Illuminor, John Runyon, and John, what's his name? John Michael, whatever his name is, the center you took last year. So, but right tackle needs to be upgraded. Morgan Moses to me is a name. He was with the Jets last year, was okay. At the back end of his career, probably better off with a swing tackle. But at least bring him in to compete with Evan Neal, because God, that guy is horrible. He's better than Evan Neal, if nothing else. Also, Quandre Diggs in there, anything should bring in. Safety's a huge hole for them. Obviously, you let Xavier McKinney walk last year, and he went on to lead the league in the interceptions. That was obviously another big mistake by Joe Shea in the Giants front office. Bring him in. Maybe it'll help your secondary, which struggled last year. They definitely need a corner 1. Maybe they can look for that in the draft, but I don't think they're going to be able to land like a DJ Reed or a Travarius Ward. I don't think they'll get one of those guys, so that's the best you can do. I mean, the Giants kind of screwed themselves over the last couple of years. Going to the NFC North, we're going to do the top 3 teams from this year in that division. Detroit Lions. 2-2. 2-2 and 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 2-2. 2-2 the Lions have to add pieces defensively. They have plenty of firepower on offense. Jared Goff is a good quarterback, not a great quarterback, but he's a good quarterback. You have a ton of firepower over there. Offensive line is great. Ashton just mentioned that Darius Slay could go here. That would be a good idea. Obviously, he started his career in Detroit, was a Pro Bowler in Detroit for quite a while. This would be a good spot for maybe a reunion because they could use another corner. You have a good young corner there in Terry Arnold, but Carlton Davis is a free agent. The good chance he ends up leaving. He's going to get paid very handsomely by somebody. Not sure who, but by somebody. So this could be a spot for him. Other moves I have them making. If you don't get him, maybe like a guy like Rasul Douglas, who didn't have a great year this year in Buffalo. He's up the back end of his career. But throughout his career, he's been a productive corner. That could be an option as a corner, too. Also adding to a defense, I think they should give a shot to like a guy like Isaiah Simmons. Look, he's been a massive first-round bust. He was drafted by Arizona. The change of scenery with the Giants didn't help. Maybe in Detroit, if Aaron Glenn was still the coordinator there, it would have felt a little bit better. But, I mean, they promoted somebody from within. I'm sure he knows the players and the scheme, so maybe under Dan Campbell, he can play a little better. Sebastian Joseph Day is, I think, a guy that fits in well. He's a really good run stopper up the middle. Alan McNeil tore his ACL very late in the year. I don't know how much he's going to play for them next year. If nothing else, he can take his place until he gets back late in the season. They're going to need somebody in the middle of that defense. And they get it with Joseph Day. I also think that they should look to try and trade for Myles Garrett. I know Aiden Hutchinson is obviously incredible, but he's coming off a major injury, and who knows how he's going to respond to that. The Lions, their picks aren't as important right now because of they're a contender. To me, their window I don't think is as wide open as people say it is. So capitalize now. You go and get Garrett, improve a defense, and take a shot at this. Remember, the Eagles are going to lose pieces. To me, they're still the best team in that division. The Vikings are going to be starting basically our rookie quarterback in J.J. McCarthy next year. Green Bay is not, still a young team. I don't think they're as good as the Lions yet. So there's a chance to the Lions. There's still a chance to come out of the NFC. I mean, it's in front of them. They just got to make the right moves on the defensive side of the ball. All right, on to the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are in a really good spot because they have a really good roster. If you're a young quarterback in McCarthy on a rookie deal, obviously didn't play last year, but I think he in this system could be really good. I think Kevin O'Connell thinks he can do what he did with Sam Darnold once again. But the Vikings definitely gonna have to add on defense. One name I think that makes sense is Greg Gaines. He's a good run stuffer up the middle. You have two very good pass rushers in Jonathan Grenard, and you drafted Dallas Turner last year, but maybe one more piece in the middle would make sense for the Vikings. Other than that, I think their roster is very, very good. On the offensive line, you're gonna get Darryl Saw back. With Brian O'Neill. You may need to add. You have on the interior. Ezra Cleveland's a free agent. He's a very good guard, but I think you can draft one to replace him. Secondary might need some help, but I think you can address that in the NFL draft. And then the last team we're going to cover today is the Green Bay Packers. To me, I know there's a couple of needs they have. I think they should probably look to a trade market, a little bit more in the free agent market. To me, they have a really good young offensive line that's only going to get better. Jordan Morgan and Zach Thomas, who tackles that. Alton Jenkins at guard. Love's a good quarterback. I don't know if he's great, but you're stuck with him. For pass rushers, you could use probably one more. Rashawn Gary's good. I'm not sure if he's great. Luke Van Ness has been a bit of a disappointment. I know Josh Jacobs came out and said it needed a wide receiver one. Jane Reed's very good. Romeo Dubes is good. Watson's pretty good when healthy, but a little inconsistent, but also he's always hurt. They could probably use one more receiver. I think Reed could be a one, but for now he's at least a strong two. I could see him maybe looking to the trade market. Maybe you go out and get a wide receiver one like DK Metcalf. Maybe you go out. I like the piece they have on defense, but I can see Jerry Alexander getting moved. Maybe you replace that in the draft, but if you need a pass rusher, go out and get somebody. I don't think you'll be able to swing it for Myles Garrett. If you could somehow swing a free agent sign, a guy like Zach Blount would make sense here, coming off a career with the Philadelphia Eagles. If there's another pass rusher besides Myles Garrett that's out there on the free agent market, maybe Howard Landry could be a guy. Titans are probably going to trade him. If not, he might get cut. That's a name that could make sense for the Green Bay Packers as well. All right, so to finish out, we are going to talk about the Elimination Chamber. Was a crazy PLE, was awesome. One of the best Elimination Chambers ever. One of the best PLEs Triple H has probably ever put together. We started out with the Women's Elimination Chamber. It started out, it was... Oh, before we get to wrestling, there's some LB news. Ashton, talk to me. Okay, I was hoping to be a little bigger than that, but there is not a lot of other guys available. That is a good sign for the Milwaukee Brewers, though. He had a decent year with the Mets last year. They could use some starting pitching depth. They have decent depth over there, but getting Brendan Woodruff back will help this year. And the Brewers should have some very strong starting pitching as they add Jose Quintana as he finally found a job after a decent year with the Mets last year. But back to the Elimination Chamber. Sorted out the first two in were Liv Morgan and Naomi. They did their first little grapple. Then all of a sudden, Jade Cargill returned, and she comes out. Obviously, it had been built to look like it might have been Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez that attacked them. They tried to say it wasn't. Bianca and Naomi didn't believe it. And then Liv braces for impact. But then Jade goes after Naomi. So it appears that Naomi attacked Jade Cargill. She absolutely eviscerated Naomi. Just a brutal beatdown to the point where she literally couldn't even continue in the chamber and was eliminated immediately. Then Bianca Belair, you saw her, going crazy in the chamber, actually crying in the elimination chamber. That was really, really well done. And she ended up winning in the elimination chamber, so she will face the winner of Rhea Ripley and Io Sky for the women's world title. I think it could be a triple threat, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But very excited to see what happens with Jade, why Naomi attacked her, how that plays out. But Bianca wins the elimination chamber. That was really well done. In a women's tag match, Tiffany Stratton and the Hall of Famer Trish Stratus in her home country of Canada, Toronto, Canada. They beat Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. This was a pretty good match. Obviously, Tiffy is the WWE Women's Champion. She's fighting Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, and Trish is arguably the greatest women's wrestler of all time. 7-time Women's Champion, Hall of Famer in her home country. And you're not going to have them lose to Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Hopefully now the Tiffy and Charlotte hype gets a little bit better. And then we had Kevin Owens against Sami Zayn in an unsanctioned match. Kevin Owens picks up the win. That was an incredible match. These two are wrestling soulmates. They are just, every time they're in the ring, whether they're fighting, they're tagging, they're in a promo together against each other. It's just great. These two are absolutely phenomenal. That was an amazing match. Exactly what I wanted. And after the match, KO was leaving. He had security, they escorting him out after the beat that he put on Sami Zayn. Then he bust through him. He pulled the floor up. Yeah, he was about to hit Sami Zayn with a package power driver, and all of a sudden, Randy Orton comes back. Remember, KO put him on the shelf months ago. And then he RKO's Kevin Owens. He was about to hit him with the punch, which he hasn't hit in 3 or 4 years, maybe even 5 years, since 2020. He had that crazy heel run in 2020. But Kevin Owens rolls out of the ring. I expect those two to fight at WrestleMania. That should be an incredible feud. Cannot wait for that. Then the men's elimination chamber. And John Cena wins the men's elimination chamber. It was incredible. There was a nice moment between him and CM Punk hugging. Then you had Seth Rollins stomping CM Punk after being eliminated and Cena locking him in the SDF. Seth Rollins was yelling "die" at CM Punk through the chamber. God, those two cannot stand each other. Cena wins the elimination chamber. Then all of a sudden, Cody Rhodes' music hits, and they start talking. Then they shake hands and they hug. Then, first Travis Scott came out. I don't know how to have him there, but Triple H likes him. Whatever, who cares? Then The Rock's music hits, and everyone realizes, oh boy, The Rock and Cody Rhodes segment is coming. It wasn't originally supposed to close up a show, but they decided to close up a show. And The Rock asks him, what's your answer? And Cody says, I don't have a soul anymore because I already sold people. And then he told Rock to go F himself and didn't say F. I'm very good they didn't bleep that out. Shout out to Peacock for that. That was awesome. Got a great crowd reaction. Then John Cena dabs up Cody Rhodes, but then the unthinkable happens. You see The Rock do this, and then John Cena, he stops hugging and kicks him in the you-know-what area, and a brutal beatdown. John Cena turns heel for the first time in 22 years. Cannot wait for this. That crap was absolutely incredible. That's the Elimination Chamber. That's all I got for you guys. Until next time, so long. Have a great day.